of me. But listen, if you want to watch us streaming on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, our stream is presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Listen, it is just quite the morning, Junie. How we doing?
Doing good. You know, last night the high school playoffs kicked off. I was out at Page High School, watched a really, really good team handle another good team in Green Hill. So, I was expecting a good game, but, the Page Patriots out there in Franklin really showed up last night. Looking forward to see how well they can do. They lost in the state championship last year, so they're really eager to bounce back. So I was at a good game, watched a really good high school football team last night.
Awesome. We love that. And you can listen to the Game Blitz every Friday from 6 to 12. Listen, we're in the postseason now, so going to be a lot of good games for all of those high schools around Nashville. And Jared Cassidy behind the glass, always running the show. Give it to me. Give me the crow. Listen, I'll eat my crow this morning. Congratulations. The Tennessee Vols. I said it a couple weeks ago to my boyfriend, and I said, if you tell anybody I said this, I will deny it. We were in my apartment, and I said, this was after the Alabama game, and I said, Tennessee is the best team in the country, period, flat out. But listen, I gotta root for my team, Tennessee, I said this also after the Alabama game. This team is going to win the national championship. They are very, very special.
Man, that's cool to hear. It definitely feels like 98. I mean, I was only 11 years old, so I can only speak to, that age. But, man, what a ride it's been. But the ride's not over. Got the biggest test of the year so far coming up in a couple of hours. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Michelle's just singing a different tune this Saturday, Jared. And correct me if I'm wrong. She's singing a different tune today, right?
I mean, it's slightly different, but Michelle, I'm glad to see you coming around because this is this is where the home is where the heart is, and the heart is here, right?
Well, listen, exactly. And I got it all week about the rivalry, and I think that you can know a team is better. And I know I didn't say that last week, but if you listen to Robby and Rex every day, I have been very clear that Tennessee is one of the best college football teams in the country. And yes, I was rooting for my team. But also one of my biggest pet peeves is everybody just jumping on the bandwagon who's not actually Tennessee fans.
Right.
Maybe somebody who I'm co-hosting with right now who's giving me crap about Kentucky.
I gave you nothing. I wasn't going to open up those can of worms. I was even considering taking Kentucky on the points last week. But you came out and you attacked my Louisville Cardinals. And listen, I am no Vols fan. If the Vols lose, it doesn't hurt me whatsoever. I have no stake in the game. But I will say this. As a diehard Louisville Cardinals fan who is arch rivals with the University of Kentucky, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So Vols Nation, Tennessee, guys, I don't root for you, but it's always great to see you get a nice win over the University of Kentucky and beat those Wildcats. So I just wanted to point that out because, I think Michelle got a little too much in to the Big Blue Nation last Saturday, and she got served a lovely slice of humble pie.
Listen, I got served a lovely slice in Neyland Stadium for the first time, which is pretty incredible.
How cool was that, though?
I mean, even if you're not a Tennessee fan, you can appreciate just the college football atmosphere. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. There are no words. And I also want to say, too, before we get into the morning brew, that there needs to be so much appreciation for this Tennessee marching band and all of the students who are on the field before the game and who do a phenomenal job of the power tee. And, I mean, it was to perfection. It really was. And I think that a lot of people on social media see the video of when the players run out, and it's amazing. But you need to give those students such a round of applause because they must practice hours and hours and hours to get it right. I remember at UK, I would see at night the band would be practicing in a side lawn on campus, and those students put so much hard work in, and it was just a spectacular show.
Yeah, it's honestly come a long way, though. They've done a lot to that stadium, especially with that in the old vintage Vols on the top. That looks so cool to see. Obviously, they expanded the press box a couple years ago. I mean, there's a ton of seats in that place, and there's not a bad view. It's just they've done a lot. And to see that, and I get it that the Alabama was a different scenario than the Kentucky game. Yeah. But Neyland at night with the fireworks and everything going off, and then them just man, like my wife, who isn't even a Tennessee fan, was like, this is pretty cool.
Oh.
And so, I mean, if she can appreciate it, then other people should definitely appreciate it, because that's a top 5 atmosphere in college.
I would argue
athletics,
top
I would
3.
say.
Yeah, exactly. And you can look at it from a lot of different angles.
It was phenomenal.
And I've never been there, so I can't vouch. And I've never. I don't think. I've been to mostly NFL, like big environments. Like I was just in Philadelphia this past weekend. I went to Kansas City last year.
What a game that was!
Yeah. Hey, I did, but who took the Eagles on the points? I did. I told you they were going to get blown out. I didn't give myself false expectations, so I'll live with that. I at least I know my team isn't that good. So.
Well, with that being said, let's get into the morning brew this morning, served up by the Nashville Jam Company. Guys, we have got a lot going on this morning. We're going to take a look around the country, around Nashville, around Tennessee. A lot of good things happening in Tennessee in our sports world right now. But guys, Game 6 of the World Series tonight. Who do we got? I think that the Astros, as much as I want the Phillies to win because it's just such a great storybook story, I think the Astros will finally get their real World Series. Because everybody is like, well, it didn't count because they cheated and all that stuff, and they made it there last year and the Braves beat them. But I think the Astros will pull it off. So we got Game 6 coming up tonight. A lot of high school games. There was one high school game last night around the country. IMG in Florida beat a team at halftime. They stopped the game. 96-0 at halftime, guys. Yeah, 96-0.
Yeah, the other team was from Canada. So Florida playing Canada. That was kind of crazy to see when I looked at it.
They don't even have football. Come on.
96-0 at halftime called the game. I mean, that's wild.
Why is the Canadian team playing down in Florida during like high school playoff time?
Honestly, couldn't tell you, man. What region are they playing in that they're playing across the country almost? That's wild to me.
Also, I think I misspoke. I think I said IMT, which is an apartment complex. It's IMG Academy in Florida. So let me rephrase this. But that's a huge sports, like a high school sports. Almost prep school. Like I know kids can go down there and live there. So it's elite athletes, but I just thought that was a funny story. Feel bad for the other team, but yeah, at least they stopped it at halftime because that could have just gone way out of hand. So 96-0 at halftime. Also, guys, I don't know if you saw this, but Hendon Hooker, quarterback of the Tennessee Volunteers, we all know the infamous game of Ole Miss, Tennessee last year. Lane Kiffin comes to Knoxville, and fans are throwing mustard bottles and golf balls when Ole Miss ended up winning the game. So obviously we know Lane Kiffin's history at Tennessee. And Hendon Hooker has now received an NIL deal from Frank's Mustard.
Which is
awesome.
That
is absolutely incredible.
And the shoes he got with that?
The shoes were the best part of that whole thing, I thought.
Listen, I'm happy for Hendon Hooker, but I need to get me a pair of those shoes because I'm gonna walk in and have the best kicks in the room. So
listen, I think they're one of one, Junie.
Oh yeah, probably. I'm not a Tennessee quarterback, so I'm
super cool though that it's like a slight little stab though, right?
Oh,
I mean, like that's just kind of neat.
Well, the timing of it was perfect too because they're heading into this Georgia game. And he announced that yesterday. So that was pretty awesome. Also, big question we've got, is Tannehill going to play on Sunday? Sunday Night Football. The Tennessee Titans are heading to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. So that's going to be a big question. We're kind of going to look out to see if he is activated. Mike Vrabel said he was questionable yesterday. So that's going to be a big question we're going to be looking out for. And hopefully we might be able to find out while we're on the show this morning. Preds bounce back in Calgary. They get a big win over the Flames in their Canadian, I almost just said road tour, in their Canadian hockey tour right now as they are bouncing from city to city. So that was a huge win.
They played good on all levels in that game. I think that was their overall best game of the season. And Jared and I were talking about this before the show. Shout out to Kevin Lincoln.
Yep.
This was the one move in the offseason that Preds fans were kind of shaking their heads at. They're like, why would we go out and pay this guy? They had Ingram last year, and, people thought that he was kind of coming on in the playoffs a little bit and that he could be the backup. But, yeah, Kevin Lankinen, definitely an upgrade from Ingram as he's struggling out in Arizona. So, shout out to the Preds. Hopefully that's a win that can really kind of project them and get them going onto a better streak than what they've been in the beginning of the season.
Well, and when you're in a 5-game losing streak, just to get that first win out of it is so important because then you can just be like, okay.
Well, they beat somebody last week though. They had a big win at home. I can't remember who they beat, but then they had another. They stunk up the joint against the Capitals, and then they go on the road and then got blasted by Edmonton. So they did win one game after that streak ended, but still it wasn't like they turned the tide, and they beat the Blues. That's who they beat. They beat the Blues here in Nashville, which was a good divisional win. But after that, they didn't play well again. So now they go into Calgary. They're going to kind of wrap up their Canadian West Coast tour, and hopefully they can get one or two more games out of that, and then they'll come back home for a bit, and hopefully get back on track and be where they're supposed to be in the Central Division.
Also, guys, another story that I feel like hasn't got enough appreciation just because we've been talking about the Tennessee Vols. Obviously, their season has taken first priority around here because what they've done is just absolutely incredible. But can we just talk about how the king is still the king and Derrick Henry?
He's a bad man.
Oh, he is. I mean, him rushing on last Sunday against the Houston Texans. I mean, if he wanted to, he probably could have beaten Adrian Peterson's single game rushing record of 296 that was set back in 2007. Derrick Henry was 219 rushing yards in that game. And for Malik Willis to have his first NFL start because Ryan Tannehill was out, I tweeted when I first heard that, and I said, Malik, a word of advice, hand the ball to Derrick Henry. What an incredible performance. And to be covering this team and watching Derrick Henry, not knowing if he would come back this year and be able to, rise to the occasion, and he very much has. And he could go for another rushing record again this year.
Especially the way that he started the season.
Exactly.
And I mean, we've seen this before in the past. Derrick Henry sometimes has to take a couple games to get going, with everything that was going on in the offensive line, losing Roger Saffold, losing Taylor Lewan, having to put new guys in there. And what a lot of people don't understand is how cohesive of a unit that an offensive line has to be. Like, you can have good players and you can have, maybe average or below average players. But as long as the unit is playing as one and they're all, synchronized, they all know what their assignment is, no one's confused. That's what leads to good offensive lineman play. And so when we were seeing this team, go up against the New York Giants, go up against the Buffalo Bills, and even a little bit against the Raiders when they struggled at times, we saw in the beginning of the season that this team needed time to gel. And it seems like they're finally getting into that groove, and Derrick Henry is finally seeing himself turn back into what he is. And, I mean, he wasn't even top 10 in the first couple weeks in rushing, and now he's third. I believe he's third in rushing in the league. So he is on the trajectory to come back in and take his title and be that king running back that we're used to seeing.
Well, and Derrick Henry, you got another game against the Houston Texans when they come here to Nashville. So you're going to get hopefully another 200 yards in that game because that seemed to be his trend in that game.
And I said there was no way that he could do it again. I was like, there's no way with this offensive line that he could do it again because it would have ended a streak of like 3 games in a row. Now it's 4 games in a row, and Houston's got to be like, the next time they come into Nashville, they got to be like, listen, we have got to stop this guy. That might be the game where Tannehill has to roll out and start hitting some of those receivers. But either way, huge game for Derrick Henry. It's really good to see him back because just being a spectator and watching, when he puts on a show, that's when the Titans are at their best. It's
pretty incredible. We're going to get more into this matchup of the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday Night Football tomorrow night. Coming up next, we're going to have Sam Phelan from A to Z Sports. He covers the Tennessee Titans every single day. He's at practice, at the press conferences. We're going to get a little bit deeper into this matchup. And can we see or will we see Ryan Tannehill play? And if he doesn't, what does Malik Willis have to do to hopefully make this a game in Sunday night? You are listening to the Michelle and Junie Show on 102.5 The Game. If you want to weigh in, text or phone line 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It's the Michelle and Junie Show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Matich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Robby Stanley here. Now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you got to do is sign up with promo code ROB. FanDuel is very easy to use. They've got great live betting options. You get your winnings paid quickly to you as well. And this NFL season, Derrick Henry is coming on strong. I'd look for him over on rushing yards most weeks, but that's totally up to you. You can take it whatever way you want to take it. Just make sure you do it on FanDuel Sportsbook, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up today with promo code ROB for your no-sweat first bet. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Make every moment more with this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Have you seen the selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches they now have at Genesis Diamonds? If not, prepare to be amazed.
If people really know the watch world, they come in and they're in shock. They're like, I cannot believe you have this selection here. They're able to see them, touch them, feel them.
Meet Genesis watch expert Charlie Rivers, who says over the past few years, Genesis buyers have scoured the world to build a collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, including all the hard-to-find models.
Daytonas, Pandas, Sky Dwellers, a huge selection of Submariners, Hulks, Kermits, anything that you could ever possibly want. We have every luxury pre-owned Rolex that we have here. We ensure that it's in pristine condition.
So come in today and find the timepiece of your dreams at Genesis. Or if you already own a Rolex and are looking to trade for a different model or even sell it, Genesis can help you get top dollar.
If you have a Rolex, definitely bring it in. I would love to see it and do a complimentary evaluation on it and see what we can do for you.
Genesis Diamonds, now with one of the largest selections of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Tennessee Home Builders wants to build you the home and addition of your dreams. Daniel is a licensed and insured Christian-based contractor serving Middle Tennessee and guarantees superior craftsmanship at the best price, including a free estimate and negotiable contractor fee. For decks, covered porches and patios, remodeling, additions, and custom builds, call Daniel at 615-796-3367 or TennesseeHomeBuilders.net. No job too big or too small.
Teron Davenport here for Superbook Sports. Can you beat Vegas this football season? Superbook Sports gives you the chance every week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers in Las Vegas. No fancy computer algorithms. No guys across the pond setting lines for American sports. Just the best team of odds makers in the business behind the counter at the Superbook in Las Vegas. Plus, Superbook features some of the best odds boosts and promo bets anywhere. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com and start your battle against Vegas right now. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Well, I mean, I think any great football team is balanced. Every great football team has a level of physicality that they're going to need. I think you kind of see what you have on your roster. You see who you have, and you build a team around it. I don't know what the numbers are, Teresa. We're just trying to focus on finding ways to win. And, I know that the edge rushers in this league are good. Defensive players are good. The premium on taking care of the football and the winning percentages that are tied to turnovers. So, there's a lot of things, but, I don't know what that could be or what reason that it might be.
That was Mike Vrabel earlier this week on the game plan and how they win in Kansas City and running the ball. Welcome back into the Michelle and Junie Show. I'm Michelle Knesvig, joined with Junie Riddle. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios on this Saturday morning, and our show is presented by Superbook Sports and the Nashville Jam Company, Nashville's premier brunch spot, one of mine and Junie's favorite brunch spots. But right now we're going to go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com, and welcome in Sam Phelan from A to Z Sports. Sam, happy Saturday. How we feeling this morning?
Happy Saturday. I'm feeling good. Thank you for having me on and letting me hop in and kind of join the conversation here for a little bit. I'm excited.
Yes, well, we are happy to have you. And Sam, honestly, the first question, pretty simple, is do you think that Ryan Tannehill will be activated and be the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans on Sunday Night Football in Kansas City? And if not, can Malik Willis run this offense to at least make this a game and not get blown out by the Chiefs?
I really would like to think Ryan Tannehill is going to play. I don't know if he will. It's hard that I'm sitting 50-50 on a Saturday and not knowing. But, Michelle, last week I said all week that Ryan Tannehill was going to play. I was confident that he would tough it out and we'd see 17 on the field. And then the week kind of went by. We didn't see him in practice. He didn't do the walkthrough on Saturday. And as it turned out, didn't travel with the team to Houston. I hope that that's a different, maybe a little bit more emphasis on getting him ready for this game because it is Kansas City, because you saw some of the passing game difficulties and woes that the Titans had last week. If he's not out there, I do think Tennessee probably struggles in this one. Malik Willis is really still in a developmental stage of his career. He has not had much success passing the football so far. His timing, his decision-making, getting his body in the right position to make a throw, all seem to be just a little bit of a tick off right now. So he has the athleticism to make plays. I don't know if I trust him against the Kansas City defense where we're at right now. So you want Ryan Tannehill out there because of what Mike Vrabel said in that sound clip you played. You want to be multidimensional, and you want to have a passing game that opens things up for Derrick Henry a little bit more. You were able to run the ball with 22 when everybody knew you were running the ball last week. I don't think that can be the case this week. I think you need Ryan Tannehill to help you out.
Okay, so let's say that Ryan Tannehill does play. Let's just say that that is who will be starting for the Tennessee Titans on Sunday night. What offensive players, other than Derrick Henry, of course, because we know that he is going to need to have a big game, what other offensive playmakers are going to need to have a big game, do you think, for this Tennessee team, Sam?
I still want to see Robert Woods getting more and more involved, and I'd like to see them continue to go with quick passes as much as possible, especially knowing Ryan Tannehill is a little bit banged up. You know that you want to keep him upright. You can't allow him to get hit. You have to get the ball out quick. Robert Woods is a nice guy to get open on a 5-yard slant route, anything quick to get early separation and get the ball in his hands. I'd like to see some screens, some Dontrell Hilliard action, some Chigakonkwo, whatever it takes to move the ball with Ryan Tannehill and get it out quickly and efficiently, I think is the best case scenario. So Robert Woods would be the guy that you've seen. He had a couple catches with Malik Willis in there just at the end of plays, but that's Ryan Tannehill's guy right now, and really the only one of their wide receivers that was probably a starter coming into the season that's still on the field today. So you need to get him involved as much as possible because you can't afford for 17 to get hit. That's a bad recipe. So whatever it takes to get the ball out.
We're talking to Sam Phelan from A to Z Sports. Sam, quick question. If, let's say, Malik Willis does start in this game, do you see the Tennessee Titans adjusting the way that they play? Because I'm sitting here looking at the ESPN rankings. The Kansas City Chiefs are the third best rushing defense, only allowing 92 yards a game, as to where in the passing game they're ranked 30th, allowing 277. Do you see Malik Willis getting more opportunities in the passing game in this matchup?
Yeah, I think you hit on it. Based on the run defense of Kansas City, I think that would be a results-based decision. I think they go into the game running the football, hammer it up the middle, do whatever they can to find success on the ground. And as Todd Downing told us on Wednesday when he spoke to the media, if you're running the ball at 7 yards a clip and have over 300 rushing yards, you're not really reaching into the bag to find something else to go to here. If Kansas City is able to bottle up Derrick Henry, I do think that if you're Mike Vrabel, you end up having to say, all right, Malik, let it rip, and you have to let him out of his cage a little bit. I'd like to see more designed rollouts, more simple concepts for Willis, flood concepts, things where he's throwing and moving to use his athleticism to your advantage. I don't think they did that enough against Houston. So I do think there would be more passing attempts. I'm not expecting a 30 passing attempt game from Malik Willis and an air raid offense, but you have to sort of ease him in to being able to carry a heavier workload, because eventually you just hand the ball off and run it up the middle. It's going to get stopped.
Last question for you, Sam. Now, this is a big Sunday night matchup, basically between two teams that are atop the AFC. The winner is going to be the number 2 seed afterwards. The Titans are huge underdogs in this game. What is it going to take for them to go into Kansas City and get a win?
Yeah, well, number one, defensively, I think you have to limit the X plays. That has been what we've talked about with the Titans defense from basically the beginning of the season, and we've heard it from Shane Bowen, we've heard it from Anthony Midget, the secondaries coach, that giving up X plays negates basically every other good thing that they've done defensively. And when you're facing a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, who's able to evade pressure, make things happen at an elite level, and when you're facing playmakers like Travis Kelce, you don't know what Kadarius Toney is going to look like in that offense. They have to limit the explosive plays. If they're able to do that, which might be a tall task without Amani Hooker, without Elijah Molden returning, I think that they can have some success in getting after Patrick Mahomes, which is the number 2 thing that I think they have to do, and that will also come down to whether or not Bud Dupree plays. When Dupree plays, they've had about 4 sacks per game in the 3 games that he's played a majority of their snaps. That cuts in half when he's not on the field. So him being out there, getting after Patrick Mahomes, limit X plays, and then you win the turnover battle. I think that's a big part of why you need Ryan Tannehill as well, is not making the big mistake. You can't afford to throw interceptions in your own territory. You have to convert in the red zone. You have to be efficient with the ball. And if you look at how the Titans have bested Kansas City in the past, that has been the recipe, is finding a way to win the turnover battle and win an ugly football game by protecting the ball, running the clock, and then just putting up points whenever they're afforded to you.
Playing some old school gritty football. Sam, really quick for you. Big college matchup today. Tennessee, Georgia. I know you're a big betting guy. On Superbook Sports, Tennessee is a 9-point underdog. Where are you going with this one?
I'm taking the points. I'm taking Tennessee with the points on the road. Georgia's without Nolan Smith. 19 pressures, leads the country. He won't be out there. Hendon Hooker, we know what he can do with his legs. He can move. He's got the explosive arm. This is the number 1 team in the country for a reason. They've got the best win in the country, and they're facing a team and a Georgia defense that Alabama's no slouch on defense either, and Tennessee still had their way with them offensively. So if I'm Georgia and I'm walking in and I'm touting my defense and how great defensively we are, I look a couple weeks ago to what Tennessee did to that Alabama defense, and all of a sudden I get a little bit more concerned. I think this is a shootout. It'll be a fun game, but I think Tennessee stays in this all the way. I take the points easily.
Well, that is going to make a lot of Tennessee fans very, very happy. A big weekend for the state of Tennessee in football. Sam Phelan from A to Z Sports also does play-by-play for Lipscomb Academy Football. Hey, Sam, thanks for joining us today, and bear down.
Bear down. I'm happy. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, no problem. That was Sam Phelan from A to Z Sports. Also does play-by-play, like I said, for Lipscomb Academy. Sam is great at what he does. You can follow him on Twitter at Sam Phelan. On the other side, Judy and I are going to get a little bit more deeper into the Tennessee-Georgia matchup. Biggest game in college football, biggest game in well over a decade for Tennessee fans. Gets everybody very, very excited. Text us, call in. Also, we got a pair of Tennessee basketball tickets that we are going to give away on the other side. You're listening to the Michelle and Junie Show on 102.5, 106.3 in the Game Nashville app.
The Nashville Jam Company is already a super popular weekend breakfast and brunch destination. But with summer over, it's time to put the beach body away for a while. So for fall, they've expanded their offerings and added what they call the Meat and Three menu. Yeah, cool weather and Southern comfort food go hand in hand. And the stars of this show are the hefty meatloaf, Southern fried catfish, slow-cooked pot roast, fried chicken, Salisbury steak, and a slew of other rib, stick, and delicacies. And they have salads, too, if you're into that kind of thing. Come see the new menu Monday through Friday from 10:30 till 2.
Need cash for the holidays or to pay off credit cards right now? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. This is great. You can keep your low mortgage rate and still get cash out. That's right. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low rate. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will come your way, and it only costs you around $300 a month. Use that money to pay off whatever bills you have, credit cards, consolidate other debt, or start a home improvement project. With Loan Pronto, you can access up to 95% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need the appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Do it now before the holidays. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.org/radio, and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
Black Friday deals are here earlier than ever at Electronic Express. Come into our convenient locations for great deals on all of your favorite brands like Samsung, GE, Microsoft, Cuisinart, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department: computers, appliances, 4K TVs, housewares, furniture, mattresses, and more. Save up to 40% with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com and get free express delivery on most items. Electronic Express, we make it happen.
Hey, it's Big Joe on the go. Look, I get it. Nobody likes being in a car accident, but when that happens, make it easy on yourself and call Apple Collision Centers so you don't have to stress. They're locally owned with 3 convenient locations in O'Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Apple Collision Centers managers combined for 60-plus years experience, and they only recommend original equipment parts on your vehicle. So, if you're in need of a repair today or down the road, just head over to Apple Collision Centers. Stan and his team will take great care of you. Online, applecollisioncenters.com.
312 Pizza Company is the official sponsor and location of Southeastern Carolines with Caroline Fenton.
Josh, when you have a game with this kind of hype in the rankings and everything, obviously, do you reflect on your own experiences as a player and trying to help this team prepare for a game like this, or do you literally just try to treat it like it's any other game and not worry about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really talked about my playing experiences this week with this football team. What I have talked about, like the outside noise and the fact that this is a big game, like everybody knows that, right? But the reality is like as a competitor, you're so entrenched in the preparation, or you should be, that the week kind of unfolds in a normal routine for you. And our guys are confident. They prepared in a really good way, and I don't feel like they've changed their habits in any way that's going to hurt us during the course of the football game. You know what I mean? Because we're not prepared. I think handling the emotion in the early stages of the football game is important in any big ball game. You got to play extremely smart and settle into the football game. Really, I think that's important.
That was Josh Heupel earlier this week speaking on this Tennessee-Georgia matchup coming up this afternoon. We got number 1 versus number 3 in Athens. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season Georgia would be 3 and Tennessee would be number 1? Welcome back into the Michelle and Junie Show. Michelle Knesvik, joined by Junie Riddle, Jared Cassidy. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios this morning. Also, stay with us until the end of the segment. We are going to be giving away Tennessee basketball tickets here in Bridgestone when they have their series against Colorado, so make sure you stay with us. Also, if you're a Tennessee fan, if you're a Georgia fan, if you're just a college football fan and you want to weigh in on this conversation, call us, text us, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025, driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. Guys, I want to talk on one thing really quick. When I went to SEC Media Days, right, this is all, I've been going back and listening to those interviews because it's so it's just funny to listen to the questions you ask and the conversations you have before anybody takes a snap. And I got the privilege of interviewing Hendon Hooker before the season started. And I went back and listened to that interview after they beat Alabama. And I specifically remember Hendon Hooker saying, we're really ready to put on a show this season. And I think that is the epitome of what they have done, right? One of the biggest questions at SEC Media Day was who is that third best team in the SEC? Because there were so many question marks. Could Kentucky rise to the occasion? No, they didn't. Could Will Levis rise to the occasion? No, they didn't. Could Arkansas? Could Mississippi State?
Texas A&M.
Could Texas A&M? Could Florida, right? Could Tennessee? There were so many different questions of who is that third best team? And with Hendon Hooker only being the starting quarterback for half of last season, you just didn't get to see enough of him. And two things he said to me that really, really stuck out. The first one being his comment on, we're ready to put a show on this season. And with this offense, they clearly have put on a show this season. Nobody has been able to stop them. And to be honest, I don't know if this Georgia team will be able to. I think they have the best shot at it. And the second thing he said, which I think has been very, very spot on, and this team has followed week to week to week, is he said that their team is, the way they look at it, and I know a lot of teams say this, but he said that we look at every week like we're 1-0. We're just trying to go 1-0 every week. Every week.
That's the way they have to do it. I mean, if you're starting to look ahead, then you're going to look over somebody. I mean, in this situation that, we were talking about last week before they had played Kentucky, I mean, we were calling that this could potentially be a huge upset game with the University of Kentucky. Exactly. Because they could have looked over Kentucky, seeing what they've done in their body of work, and then tried to look towards Georgia, and they didn't. Mm-hmm. So this really shows you that Heupel has these guys honed in, and I think they really do buy into that. And when you talk about Hendon Hooker in this offense, we were seeing flashes. The guy only threw 3 interceptions last year, and he threw for over 30 touchdowns.
It's
I mean,
insane.
the kid had the writing was on the wall. Year one, their offense looked that good. Heupel had them getting going. They were winning games that a lot of people didn't expect them to be. They were inside of games that people didn't expect them to be. And although they finished with, a 7-5 record last year?
But not all 7-5s are created equal. And I think if you look at that Tennessee schedule from last year, and as a fan in Heupel's first season, I mean, you're almost pleasantly surprised because you look at it and you think, okay, well, we were in the game with Pittsburgh, right? That was a gritty game, right? You almost beat Florida, right? You beat Kentucky, which their team was much better last year. And listen, you were even in the game with Alabama as far as offense, and then Alabama ended up pulling away. You were in the game a little bit against Georgia, but looking at the box scores after, it's hard to realize that from an outsider looking in. Oh, Tennessee, they just won 7-5 last year. But no, if you actually look at these games and watch these games, this team was in it.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Lamar Jackson was at Louisville. It really does, because his first year they went 6-6, I think, and it took him a while to get going and get into that system, and he flourished at the end of the year. And then nobody was talking about him. He was one of those dark horse Heisman candidates in 2016, and then he came out and absolutely put on a show in the first couple games. Florida State was ranked 2nd in the nation coming into Louisville, first time College Game Day ever came to Louisville in 2016, and Lamar Jackson put on probably his biggest game of the season and put him on the Heisman map when they beat Florida State by 40 points. And this is what Hendon Hooker in this offense reminds me of doing when they beat Alabama, and how big of stakes those games are, and the fact that they keep winning and keep impressing, and it seems like they keep improving not only as an offense and a team, but this defense and the way that they played against Kentucky. I mean, we've been ripping this secondary all year long, and ever since then, they destroyed LSU, and we said that this secondary could be the reason that LSU could get a big win. And the same thing with Alabama and Bryce Young, that he would dissect it, and he did. But again, this offense, held them up. And to do that against Will Levis and Kentucky, you got to give props to this defense and how they have grown, and how that Tennessee has really formed into a very well-rounded team. And we've watched that progress throughout the entire season.
Well, that's the biggest question about today, though, right, is the defense. What Tennessee defense are we going to get? Are we going to get the Pitt defense where we were forced to go to overtime, or are we going to get the Kentucky defense? But, I mean, the thing is, they have progressively gotten better each week and each week. And I think cohesively as a whole unit, they look pretty darn good. And I just think that going down there, I mean, Heupel's got them on the right track, right? Mm-hmm. He's not getting overblown. He's not hyping them up too much, pardon the pun. He is 100% on board, and everybody that's in that room seems to be on the same page. And there are many programs around the nation that teams are not like that from any level, high school, college, whatever, pros, that you don't get that. It just seems to me like they know the mission. They know what they got to do. And this, like I said, if the defense steps up, that's the biggest test today is the defense.
Well, and when you look at this Tennessee team, right, you look at it last year where this Georgia team was able to shut down this unique Tennessee offense. But Georgia lost 5 starting guys, 14 total players to the NFL draft. This Georgia team, we've seen their weaknesses. I mean, they almost lost to Missouri, right? We have not seen the Georgia team that was the national championship team. I think this Georgia defense is worse. This Tennessee offense is better, but I think the true test is going to be Georgia's offense versus Tennessee's defense, because if Tennessee can limit the amount of points that Georgia gets on the board, listen, Tennessee is going to score, and they're going to score a lot, right? Yep. They're not going to – I think this is going to be – listen, I hope you took the over because it's going to be a high-scoring game, and if Georgia wants to compete with Tennessee, that's the way I'm looking at it. They need to be able to put the numbers up that Tennessee does. And also, quick stat for you all. In Hendon Hooker's time as a quarterback at Tennessee, so half of last year and this season, he has thrown 52 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That is absolutely incredible.
Wild.
And I actually like this matchup. And I took Alabama on the points. I think it was +8 when they played earlier this season, because I thought the Bama matchup was worse for Tennessee with Bryce Young at the helm, and the way that their secondary struggled. But they're going up against Stetson Bennett. Mm-hmm. And listen, Stetson Bennett at times this year has looked really good, but at other times he's also looked really bad.
Correct.
And the one consistent thing with this Tennessee defense that has really kind of shown up in almost all of their games has been their pass rush. I think if they can really get to Stetson Bennett today, it's going to help that secondary out a lot, because this is a quarterback that won, although, yes, he did win the national championship last year with a stacked team, but he's also lacking experience. He hasn't started a full season. He didn't have to go through the SEC gauntlet last year. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he plays against this defense, because if Georgia wants to win, he has to have one of his better games, and he cannot have one of those games like he had against Kent State or Missouri.
I 100% agree. Stetson Bennett needs to show America why he won the national championship last year, because people still don't give him respect. It's flat out. People kind of throw him off. Oh, the defense won. He needs to show that he can perform to the caliber of a national championship quarterback, point blank. I think 2 things really quick before we give you our picks of the day. We just don't have enough time to talk about this matchup. There's so many things to say. But the only thing, too, that I will give Georgia the slight edge is Tennessee has not had a LSU at Tiger Stadium wasn't a night game, which, listen, I get it. It was still on the road. It was still a tough environment at Tiger Stadium. But a night game at Tiger Stadium is very different than a day game. And although Georgia hasn't had a very tough schedule as far as teams they've played, this will be the toughest test so far this year, other than Oregon the first week, but they beat the brakes off them, and Oregon just didn't look very good, point blank. But Tennessee has not had a true hard road environment, and this game in Athens is definitely going to be a hard environment because you got grown men barking at you. But on the other side, we are going to make our picks of the weekend. We're going to talk more about this Tennessee-Georgia game because, listen, we just can't stop talking about it here on the Michelle and Junie Show. And we know Jared Cassidy is so excited. On the other side, we will give you our picks of the weekend, taking a look around the SEC. We're going to look at Superbook Sports for all of our lines and our final takeaways for this weekend in sports around the state of Tennessee. You're listening to the Michelle and Junie Show on 102.5, 106.3 in the Game Nashville app.
Now is a fantastic time to sell in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. And no one has better intel than the Gary Ashton team. You may be wondering, what is this intel I keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel on where to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Everyone else is getting the same information and competing for the same properties. GaryAshton.com gives you the edge with the best real estate intel in Nashville. No one else even comes close. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate agent for the Preds. Get the confidence to sell your home and find your dream address without the stress. Call the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage today at 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Tennessee Home Builders wants to build you the home and addition of your dreams. Daniel is a licensed and insured Christian-based contractor serving Middle Tennessee and guarantees superior craftsmanship at the best price, including a free estimate and negotiable contractor fee. For decks, covered porches and patios, remodeling, additions, and custom builds, call Daniel at 615-796-3367 or TennesseeHomeBuilders.net. No job too big or too small.
Genesis is actually a new beginning.
Genesis Diamonds owner Boaz Ramon talking about why it's called Genesis.
I love the symbolism of the name. It's a new beginning.
Boaz wanted the name of his company to mean something, to reflect his core values and the importance of starting relationships for people in love, as well as the relationship he wants with each and every customer.
It's a new beginning in their life for the relationship between us, the jeweler, the Genesis Diamond, and the customer, and it should last forever. Everything we do is for the customer.
Walk into Genesis and you can feel it. Genuine people who are solely focused on celebrating the best moments of your life.
It's not only my passion, it's my culture. Genesis is the book where God created the world, the day and night, the man and the woman. Every diamond engagement ring that we specially created for the customer is a new beginning for amazing, lasting relationship.
Come start your amazing, lasting relationship today at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, Teron Davenport here for Superbook Sports. When it comes to sports, it's all happening right now. Football, basketball, hockey, and soon enough, the World Cup. And there's no better place to wager on all of it than Superbook Sports. When you sign up, deposit, and wager in the same day, Superbook will give you a bonus up to $1,000. Yes, $1,000. When the sports world is busy, it's time to get busy winning some money. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Favorite part of the morning, it is time to make some money. Welcome back into the Michelle and Junie Show. I'm Michelle Knesvik with Junie Riddle. Jared Cassidy behind the glass running the show. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Listen, guys, follow us on Instagram at the Game Instagram account at 1025 The Game. We are getting that up and running. And if you want to make your picks, give us your locks of the day, text us in 615-737-1025. And also, I teased some tickets that we were going to give away that I forgot to give away on the other side. So if you want a pair of tickets to see UT Colorado in Bridgestone on Sunday, November 13th, be the first caller right now at 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Those are for some Tennessee basketball tickets taking on the Colorado Buffaloes at Bridgestone Arena on Sunday, November 13th. So call in right now to win those tickets. I definitely will be at that game. I'm already ready for basketball season. But listen, we are in the prime of football season right now. We have not even had enough time to talk about this Tennessee-Georgia game. But taking a look at my Superbook Sportsbook app, listen, this line has gone up.
Up and down.
Up and down. Listen.
It was like 9, 8.5, 8, back up to 8.5. Now you said it was at 9 at the beginning of the show,
yes,
right?
Yes, I did, and it's still at 9. So Tennessee plus 9. Listen, this is easy money. I promise you. I really do think that this Tennessee team could beat Georgia by a touchdown or 10 points. I honestly do.
I'm leaning towards what you're saying here, but they are also playing in Athens.
Yep.
And Georgia was the number 1 team in the nation, and they've yet to lose. And the committee for the college football playoff ends up making Tennessee leap over Georgia, and Georgia's now at 3. If you don't think that that's going to put a little salt in the wound for those Bulldogs, then you're not paying attention. You're just flat out not paying attention. I think that that's a big deal. I think that's a motivator, and I think that's something that Kirby Smart is telling his guys in the locker room, like, hey, they're disrespecting you, and they're coming to our house. They're the number 1 team. Let's show them why they made a mistake on making them the number 1 team. But 9 points is a lot against this team, and I already went against Tennessee, against Alabama. Give me the +9 for the Vols. I think even if they do lose, I think it's going to be close. This offense is too good. They're not going to get blown out in this game by more than a touchdown. I just don't see it.
I really don't see this offense being able to be broken. I mean, because when you take a look at what the secondary would have to do to contain a Cedric Tillman, a Jalen Hyatt, I mean, you can't double anyone.
No,
because
they
Hendon
have
Hooker
3
has
stud
so
receivers.
many weapons. So you really just need to go man to man, and Georgia's secondary is going to need to have prime coverage over these guys. And even that way, they're still going to be able to score, and they're still going to be able to, create points. And I don't know. I mean, I'm talking to a Georgia fan on the text line right now, and he commented on this is Pete. He commented on although he won a national championship last year, on my Stetson Bennett comment. Listen, I think that Stetson Bennett had a couple games earlier in this season where he looked like he could be in the Heisman conversation.
Yeah, but against who?
Oregon, yes. But listen, he did not perform against Mizzou. He has not really performed to the level that Hendon Hooker has whatsoever. I mean, Hendon Hooker has had an absolutely historic season. I said earlier in the show, 52 touchdowns to 4 interceptions in his career at Tennessee. And the reason that Georgia team won the national championship last year was because their defense was incredible, and Stetson Bennett was a game manager, and he was efficient, and he got it done. But it's going to be an interesting game, and we're going to see. Moneyline, who are you taking?
Give me the Vols. I'm going
the Vols on Moneyline. Jared?
Vols Nation, let's ride.
Are you you're obviously taking the Vols plus the 9.
Yeah.
What about
and the money line too?
Well,
and
yes.
I like the over as well.
I like the over easy in this game.
Over, yes. It's going to be 65 even. And listen, the Vols are plus 260 on the money line. Love those odds on Superbook. So listen, we're going to go Vols all the way around. Vols plus 9. Take the over. And plus 260 on the money line. I absolutely love that. Okay, let's take another look at another SEC matchup right here in Nashville. We've got Vanderbilt. South Carolina is coming to town. Vanderbilt is a 6.5-point dog. If this was a 7-point dog or 7.5 points, I would feel a little bit more comfortable about that. But I really do like Vanderbilt's chances. They've got A.J. Swan coming back at quarterback. Listen, South Carolina has had some issues. I don't know if you heard oh my gosh, his name is escaping me.
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. His comments after the game, after the Mizzou game, basically kind of, just airing out his dirty laundry and saying, yeah, like, coaches weren't prepared for this game. And you can just tell that there's kind of some underlying things going on there. I don't think the South Carolina team is very good. I think that Vanderbilt can cover that 6.5 today.
I'm not taking Vandy. I'm not taking
Listen,
Vandy.
you guys didn't listen to me against Mizzou.
Give me South Carolina.
They covered against Mizzou.
I don't care. I mean, what? South Carolina was just in the top 25. Yeah, Spencer Rattler's been a disappointment, and he's had trouble at Oklahoma. He's had trouble at South Carolina. He's gonna have trouble wherever he goes because he just doesn't have the right attitude. But still, South Carolina was just in the top 25. They've been playing a little bit better as of late. I know, like you said, you did say that Vanderbilt would cover against Missouri.
And I was right.
You were right, but I'm just not taking Vanderbilt. Until Vanderbilt can prove to me that they can beat an SEC team for once in their life, then yeah, I'll take them. But I'm not today. I'm not risking that one.
Jared?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay. Listen, you guys just wait. Just wait. And we've also got another big one. We've got Alabama LSU. This line is pretty big. Alabama is a 13.5-point favorite. I'm taking LSU to cover the 13.5. I think that Alabama will ultimately win, and they're minus 500 on the money line. Obviously, Vegas thinks they're going to win too. A lot of people are putting money on Alabama, but it's crazy that we're talking about this Georgia-Tennessee game of the game of the year and everything, and then you've also got LSU-Alabama. Junie, what do you like for this game?
Give me Alabama. I think it's a 2-touchdown game. I think LSU might keep it close, but I think Alabama pulls away late.
Jared?
I'm going LSU. Yep.
LSU, okay. And then also, finally, of course, we got to give my Kentucky Wildcats some love really quick. Our last pick of the day.
No Titans Chiefs?
Oh, Titans Chiefs. Okay, 11.5. I think this one is easy. Give me the Tennessee Titans plus 11.5.
Give me the Chiefs. I don't think Tannehill is going to play, and I don't think that Malik Willis is going to pass, and the Chiefs have a good run defense. So give me the Chiefs by more than 2 touchdowns.
Okay, but really quick before Jared goes, if Malik Willis plays, I'm with Junie. If Tannehill plays, I'm taking the plus 11.5, Jared.
I'm going to bank on Tannehill not playing as of the moment, so I will definitely take the Chiefs. Hard to win a game when you can't pass the ball. That's really all I got.
Yep, nope, that pretty much sums it up. Listen, we're handing off the baton to Caroline Fenton. She is going to give you all the lines in the SEC, and we are handing the baton over to her right now. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. This is the Michelle and Junie Show. We will be back next Saturday, same time, same place on 102.5, 106.3 in the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
The Nashville Jam Company is already a super popular weekend breakfast and brunch destination. But with summer over, it's time to put the beach body away for a while. So for fall, they've expanded their offerings and added what they call the Meat and 3 menu. Yeah, cool weather and Southern comfort food go hand in hand. And the stars of this show are the hefty meatloaf, Southern fried catfish, slow-cooked pot roast, fried chicken, Salisbury steak, and a slew of other rib, stick, and delicacies. And they have salads, too, if you're into that kind of thing. Come see the new menu Monday through Friday from 10:30 till 2.
In today's economy, employers and employees should be working together to create safe, good-paying jobs with no unnecessary government overreach. Right to work does not belong in the state constitution. Tennesseans, this voting season, vote no on Amendment 1. Visit TennesseeWorkersAlliance.org, paid for by the Nashville Building Trades.
Middle Tennessee football is back